Welcome back to SoCo Chat. I'm your host, Matt Brown, Deputy Communications Manager for the County of Sonoma. Thank you for joining us. Well, when a young person is convicted of a crime, they enter the juvenile justice system. Typically, this involves a stay at Juvenile Hall, which is operated by the Sonoma County Probation Department. The goal is to create an environment that allows young people to take responsibility for criminal behavior and to develop skills in preparation for a successful return to the community. One alternative to Juvenile Hall is the Vista Academy, an evening reporting center designed to keep court-ordered youth busy during specific hours that, if not structured, might lead to additional criminal activity. Operated by the nonprofit Circuit Rider Community Services, Vista Academy is structured to assist juvenile offenders to alter thinking patterns and develop ethical values that reduce the likelihood of rearrest. Here to talk about Vista Academy and other programs is Rob Izzo, Circuit Rider CEO. Rob, thanks so much for being on SoCo Chat.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Matt.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about Circuit Rider. Where does the name come from, and what are some of the programs that you offer?
Sure. So Circuit Rider sounds like a bit of a funny name, but it has a historical context. A circuit rider was a professional that might have been a preacher, doctor, lawyer, that would go around from town to town, and they would bring their services where they were needed. That was their circuit. So we're bringing a little bit more of a modern spin to that. You know, I was just talking with one of the original executive directors of Circuit Rider when it was founded in the 1970s. And we were founded in 1976. And he told me that it was a group of people who wanted to have video production where they could highlight at-risk youth and the sort of projects that they were working on. And one of the avenues that they used to get funding at that point in time was to go out and do ecological restoration. They were doing a lot of the cleanup from clear-cut timber operations that we're having throughout Northern California. And that's how they got started. They were talking about how to get youth their jobs in eco-restoration. They were telling stories. And over the next 50 years, the organization has gotten a little bit more technical and more prescriptive in the way that we work with at-risk youth. Now, instead of just sending youth out there to do some cleanup on eco sites, we're a little bit more technical in how we approach it. One example of this is our Vista Academy, where we've got these behavioral programs that are ideally helping our youth get back into the community.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's what I really want to focus on, the Vista Academy. That's where you really are partnering with the County of Sonoma. Tell us about this and how you collaborate with the Sonoma County Probation Department on this innovative alternative to detention.
Yeah, so we've worked with Sonoma County now for the last 16 years on this contract in various iterations. And I first have to really give credit to the Sonoma County Probation Department, Chief Fuchs, Brad Miknovich, and Chris Hoyer. The team that we're working with over there are incredibly supportive of the nonprofits that are working in this space. They want to do everything they can to keep youth out of juvenile hall, recognizing that is the last resort and is probably the least effective way of really getting them back into the communities. So we've received tremendous opportunity to put together programs that we think are going to help the youth in this case. What we're able to do is we can keep youth at home with their parents or caregivers and in their school still earning credits towards graduation. We occupy that critical space between when school gets out and when parents are getting off work. So what we're doing is we're picking kids up at school, we're transporting them to our facility over on College Avenue. We're keeping them there doing a whole host of activities that ranges from guided meditation to kind of bring them into this space, kind of get everything that they might have experienced that would have been stressful out of them. We go through a number of classroom-like activities. We do all sorts of physical fitness. They're running, they're lifting weights, and we have a bunch of other pro-social activities. We're making sure that we feed them dinner before they get back in the vans and we take them to their homes. We're also offering wraparound services for them. So it's really identifying each particular youth that's coming to us and what they need. For some, it's housing. Others, it's food and security. I'll talk a bit about some of the programmatic stuff that we're doing, but mental health is one that's really popping up for us. And being able to identify what a youth needs in that moment is really important, and that we're able to use this time to give it to them.
What a vital service, keeping kids out of trouble and giving them something to do and a purpose. And to do it. That's great. Well, talk a little bit about the upstream preventative role that the Vista Academy and other programs you offer can play, in the role in combating gang violence and ensuring youth safety as well.
Yeah. Gangs are a tricky thing in Sonoma County. We have them everywhere, all the way from Cloverdale down to Petaluma, Sonoma, and into West County. The idea of the culture that these youth are coming with, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's community, it's definitely in schools. And youth are running into gangs for a wide array of reasons. A lot of time it's a sense of security and feeling safe inside of that particular culture. So for us to have any sort of impact, going upstream is important. This usually happens before Vista, where we're starting to identify patterns of behavior that might be challenging. Teachers, some administrators, some other nonprofit leaders, they start to see those signs and they can refer to us. With the Vista Academy, we're able to get ahead of some of the really violent things that happen. This is a pattern of behavior that starts with disruptions in school, outbursts, things along those lines, and progresses, and it can get quite serious. So we're able to interrupt those behaviors with our Vista Academy, which is the most intense program that we have. It's 6 to 9 months for most of these youth, and we're seeing them 5 days a week.
Wow. Can you give us some examples of some positive outcomes that have come from some participants?
Yeah, that's probably one of the most rewarding aspects of my role, is to get to see these positive
I bet.
outcomes. I'll give a couple brief examples that we had. Over Martin Luther King weekend, we took some youth up to Tahoe for the first time. And for all but one of them, it was their first time seeing snow. For many of them, they'd never left Santa Rosa. So it was an amazing opportunity to drive out there. They're seeing snow. These guys are, they have a tough guy mentality. They come in and they're like, all right, we'll see what you have for us. And to watch them go jump in the snow, to make snow angels, to have snowball fights with one another, with our staff, it's an opportunity to see them drop the mask, and they get to be kids. They get to have fun. Back in June, we took our youth out to Yosemite, and the drive into Yosemite Valley, again, for kids who haven't left Sonoma County, they were asking us to stop the vehicle before we even got into the park so that we could take pictures, for them to be like, oh my gosh, to take it all in. And they get a chance to see what's big out there. And to really bring this down to the individual youth, we have a photography component to our program, and it lets them take pictures. We do self-reflection. It gives us an opportunity to address some of the deeper issues that are going on in some mental health work. And what we found is some of these youth have a real eye for photography. We've been taking them out, and we were out at a preserve with an organization, and there were a couple professional photographers taking the kids around. And one of those photographers was watching our youth work this little point and shoot camera that's like 13 years old. And he's watching him frame it, and he's going, God, this kid is awesome. The professional photographer took his camera off of his next drop and gave it to that kid, saying,
Wow.
look, you have a future for this. You have an eye. I believe in you. And those are the sort of transformations that we see in youth, where they come in with this notion of, I'm here because I'm on probation, I got in trouble, and to watch the transformation into something that they see there's something so much more out there. I can be different. It's the most rewarding thing that you could possibly imagine, at least for someone in my role.
That's amazing. That must be really great. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about how Vista Academy touches on some of the other broader county priorities. I'm talking about equity, public safety, mental health, strengthening local communities.
Oh, yeah. So I think one of the big things is we're not doing this work on our own. We've got partnerships across the county. We're working, of course, with Probation. Sonoma County Regional Parks has been a tremendous resource for us in making sure that we have access to parks, getting kids outside, going on hikes on nice days. Right? Sonoma County Ag and Open Spaces has been another organization inviting us out to use those preserves. It's providing the resources there. We're also working with other organizations trying to address some of the systemic challenges. The Santa Rosa Violence Prevention Partnership has been one that has come in with creating connections to other nonprofits. We've been working with Petaluma People Services down in Petaluma for some of the mental health operations that are going on. And we're also starting to work with the parent side. So CPI here in Sonoma County has been another incredible resource for us.
That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about some of your other programs or other things Circuit Rider does. I understand there's something called aggression replacement training.
Yeah, so aggression replacement training is a 10-week program that we do. Typically, it's court ordered, so they're coming to us on probation. In some instances, we get it pre-court ordered, and it's a diversion program. It's 10 weeks. It helps to adjust the way that a youth is thinking about their program or their challenges they come in when they're in the program, and they're able to pivot to start de-escalating, and they're starting to think a little bit more about moral reasoning, a little bit more about the ethics side of things.
That's great. Yeah. Well, tell me about the Upstream Academy. That's your enrichment and college readiness program for youth and young adults from historically underserved communities.
Yeah, so we've got two upstream components. The one that you just mentioned is this really cool partnership between the sheriff's, DA's, probation offices and the Santa Rosa Police Department. What we're doing is getting one-on-one wraparound support. We're saying, all right, what do you need and what do we have to do to help get you there? There's mentorship going on. We're doing workforce readiness training, and we're also starting to identify what do we need to do to help youth get the credits that they need and to be set up for success all the way through school. So that's going pre-justice involvement, so ideally middle school age range. Another one that we have that is upstream is our Raíces al Cumbre, Roots to Summit. It is an outdoor mentorship program that is done all in Spanish. Right now we've got 12 youth and their families, so parents, caregivers, and siblings, coming to our Windsor facility. We're teaching them outdoor skills, so how to camp, how to access our regional parks, go out on hikes, and have this occur over the course of a year, with the culminating experience being we're going to pay for a trip to a national park for their family.
Wow.
So it's this notion of we can occupy the time, we can give them tools and resources that might get them back on track, so we can get them to experience the academic success in schools and interrupt the behavioral challenges that we're seeing.
That sounds like a great program.
Yeah, it's been awesome so
Raíces
far.
al Cumbre, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, tell me, how can listeners connect with Circuit Rider and find out more about your programs, volunteer opportunities, donations?
Sure.
How can people connect to you?
Oh, so our website is circuitridercs.org. We have the same Instagram handle. Those are two great ways to get in touch with us. You can come by our offices at 401 College Avenue and talk with us at that point too. We've got volunteer opportunities that you can work with our youth in some of these upstream programs. We have days where we're going out and doing restoration activities with youth. We're starting workforce education programs. So if people have skills that they think might be beneficial there, we'd love to have them out. Or if you're just curious and you want to see what we're doing, come on by. I'll give you a tour.
That sounds great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, we've got events coming up. So Earth Day on September 19th, we'll be at our Windsor property at 9619 Old Redwood Highway. We're going to be showcasing what we do on our ecological restoration side, and we'll also be showing how our youth get involved in those programs, both for workforce readiness and job skills and opportunities.
Well, that sounds great, Rob. I really appreciate you coming by and talking to us here on SoCo Chat, and really appreciate all the work you're doing out in the community. It's really a great service.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for all the support you have for Sonoma County.
Absolutely. Well, and as a thank you for being our guest here, we'd like to present you with our SoCo Chat coffee mug here.
Awesome. Thank you.
And yeah, of course. And to our listeners, if you have any comments about this episode or have a suggestion for a future SoCo Chat discussion, please email us at publicaffairs@sonomacounty.gov. Thank you all, and we hope you continue to follow SoCo Chat on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and of course, YouTube. See you next time. Thanks again, Rob.
Thank you.